So today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful 46 by 48 inch chunky knit blanket. It's a medium-sized throw and it's awesome for your house if you want to sit around and watch Netflix, or your personal brand photography if you're a photographer. It will fit pretty nicely on a full-size bed and perfectly on a twin-size bed. So just to give you some idea of what it will work with. So anyway, please consider subscribing. I upload one video a week right now, and hopefully I'll be able to take that up to 2 or 3 with the new year starting. Also, this is Hobby Lobby's Showstopper Sleepy Sky yarn. It's $9.99 a skein. I use 7 skeins. I say $70, but I actually got this yarn at 30% off. So it's actually cheaper than $70 if you get the coupon. Also, if you take advantage of the sale, if they have a sale going at the time that you buy it. So anyway, let's get started on the tutorial. So the first thing we're going to do is make our slip knot like usual. Just take your yarn, throw it over, take your put one piece over, take your loop, and then pull through, and that's going to make your slip knot. And so with this side, you can make your hole smaller or larger depending on how far you pull it. So we're going to leave it here at about 2.5 inches, and that's going to be our first stitch. And then we're going to continue on. We're going to make 24 stitches. So basically you just have your stitch there and you pull through. So now you have 2 stitches. And you want to make sure and pull through the same way. So I'm pulling the yarn like that. Now I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're going to go to 24. Now that we have 24, we are going to start our second row. We're going to leave this stitch as it is, and we're going to come to our second one here, and you see there's a top hole, a bottom hole, and there's a middle to the stitch, and we are going to actually take the middle and we are going to go back that way through the middle stitches of each one. So we just take the middle stitch, pull it up, put our fingers through, and once again pull through. Find the next one. If you made your stitches a little tight, it's going to be more difficult, but it's going to be a beautiful blanket. Okay. The reason we're going through the middle stitches, let me get this one done and I'll show you on the back why we want to do this, is because it creates this beautiful, and you'll see it once the blanket folds up this way, you'll see it here too. It's going to be gorgeous. So we're going to go all the way across. Meet me at the end. And now you can see how beautiful the bottom is. Okay. Now we're going to start on our third row, second row from the chain, and what we're going to do here is, instead of going through this first stitch and going up, we're going to save that one and go through this one. And the reason we're going to do that is because it's going to make a beautiful edge on our blanket, more beautiful than if we went through it. So instead of doing 24 across, it's going to be 23 across, because we're starting with the second one, and we're going to do it on the way back as well. So to start our second row, we basically just go through this second loop here And all you have to do is pull through. Like I said, we're leaving this one. Okay, make sure you don't skip any. And pull through. Try to keep them the same size. I try to keep mine at about 2.5 inches. The reason I like to knit mine really, really tight is because I've found with this yarn that when I go to pick it up or do anything with the blanket, that it can become really, really stretchy. So I try to keep mine super tight. Also, another thing to take note, so your stitches kind of move like that after you're done and you're going through your stitching. So you want to make sure that they're all turned the right way when you pull your yarn through. You wouldn't want it accidentally turned that way because then it'll just look different on your blanket. And if you're anal like I am, you will see it all the time. So meet me at the end. We're going to go all the way to the end doing the same thing. Okay, so we came to our last one here, and we are just going to pull it through, just like the rest, and there goes my yarn. Okay, so we're gonna pull it through. And just like we did on the end of the other row, we are not going to knit up with the stitch. We are going to start in the second stitch. And basically, we just continue to pull through. So keep knitting in this fashion, skipping the first one of each, going all the way to the end. And once we get to your next ball of yarn, which way does it go? Meet me back here, and we will continue on. All right, guys, so now we have about 2 feet left in our first skein. So what we're going to do is we're going to combine this with our new skein. So basically, we're going to start pulling a little bit of fluff out of the end. We're going to do this because it's going to make it just a little bit easier to work with, a little bit smaller on the ends here. Then we're going to pull fluff from the sides, make it a little bit thinner. Okay, a little bit more fluff from the end here. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing to the new part. Okay. We've done that. We're just going to kind of spread it out a little bit here and put this one in here, spread it around, just kind of fold it in together basically, run it back and forth in your hands. Okay. Then we're going to continue knitting. So here's my next stitch here. And you just want to be gentle because you want to make sure and pull it through without getting little edges coming out and stuff. Make sure it looks good. This part is not looking good. I'm going to brush it a little bit. Make it look a little bit better. I'm gonna swirl it just a little bit. Okay. and your combination of the two is done. These are just a little bit fuzzier. Your whole blanket's gonna look a little bit more like this after a little while anyway, but you'll see once you come back on the next row, this will not be nearly as visible because they'll be down like these. So just keep that in mind, that they do look a little bit rougher than the others, but once you come back through, it's going to kind of hide it a bit. So that's how you join. So this will be our second ball of yarn. So meet me back here at the start of the 7th skein. Okay guys, so now it's time to cast off of our blanket. I've done 7 skeins of the Hobby Lobby Showstopper at this point, and I have about 4 times the width of my blanket left in working yarn. So you can judge how much. I did not count how many rows up because it's going to vary with how knit or how loose, how tight or how loose you knit anyway. So just about 4 times back and forth is how much is left of this yarn. So now to bind off, I've already done my last stitch here, and this is really, really simple. Basically, you take your stitch, put it over the next stitch, and you have one hole, and then you pull your yarn through, and you do the same thing. You have your hole, pull it over, and through. And you'll have to get a feel for what you think is prettiest when you're, like if it's too tight or too loose to pull your blanket, you might have to unravel it. Not the whole blanket, just the last bind off row to see what you like the best. So one more time, we just pull it through and over. And pull it through. Okay guys, so the sound went out on my microphone, so I have to narrate the rest of it. Luckily there's not much left, so we won't have a lot. But so the last stitch, you do the same thing, fold it over, pull it through, and then you're going to keep that stitch and pull the yarn through once again. See what I'm doing? There we go. It makes a nice finished end to your blanket. Pull it tight, then you're going to turn your blanket over, and you're going to hide your ending inside the little, let's see, I'm discovering that that was not my last stitch. I did something crazy. I don't know what happened. So I have to go back and fix it. Yeah, there we go. So I'm loosening this back up. Luckily, that was not a mistake that was made like halfway through the blanket, because that would have been awful. So here I'm just folding it over to the second one from the end, and then I'll be folding over to the last one to the end. Oh, it looks like I'm pondering what happened again, making sure that it was right. Alright, so now folding over and folding over once again and doing what I told you the last time. Now I'm making sure you can see it. And as you can see, I am running out of yarn, but that's okay. I just pull it through like I just showed you, and then pull it through, pull it tight, and now we're going to hide in the back. So turn our blanket over and you see the little bubbles. You just hide it in the bubbles that are sticking out, and that way no one can see your end, and you might need it, you know, to do something else later to finish a like if it comes if the knot comes undone, you might need the end of it. So now we're going to do our where we had our slip knot. Same thing, you just hide it in the little bubbles. I like to leave about 10 inches of a tail on mine. Any more than that is just a little too much to hide. And we are now done with our blanket. Right here I'm going to show you the edge and why we skipped the first bit. That beautiful edge, it would not have looked as wonderful if we had gone to the end of every single one. So, and I'm just highlighting the top and the bottom and how they look. Such a beautiful blanket. If you want to learn certain crafts, knitting, how to take better pictures, things like that, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And thanks so much for watching, guys.